All right, thank you guys again for watching WCEG, the WCEG network. This is Millennial Talk 2.0, and I am your host, Kyle Andrew. In the studio with me is Ricardo D. Wrice. He is an author, radio show host, and a talk show host on the Now Network. And that's actually what we're about to get into now, is your television show on the Now Network. So tell me how that came about. Who gave you a TV show?
I don't know why you word like that, but I feel like I should feel slightly offended. And I kind of do. No, honestly, it's the same thing that happened with radio. I was laying around the house and I saw an ad that said, "Have you ever thought about having your own TV show?" And I was like, you know what? Hey, why not? Let's give it a shot. Sent the inquiry, and I think Miss Nell either emailed me or called me back, and she was like, "Okay, well, hey, this is what it is." I was like, "Wait, that's all it costs to do TV?" She was like, "Yeah, that's such and such." So I was like, "Okay." She was like, "So yeah, if you were to have a show," because I was asking about the cost of it. She was like, "Well, you were to have a show, it would be XYZ," and she threw out Monday at 3:30. And I was like,
That's like 30 minutes.
Exactly. I was like, you know what? I was like, okay. So I'm a spiritual person. So I was like, you know what? I asked my family, and they was like, because when I did radio, I asked some friends. It was like, well, you probably want to wait and then do your research. I'm like, nah, I'm a believer like this. If God puts it at my feet, I'm supposed to master it. Even if I don't understand it, that's what faith is for. And that's what I did with radio, and it served me well. So I was like, okay, well, clearly it must be time to do TV. So when she threw that out, I was like, okay, that's got to be the sign that I'm supposed to do TV, because that's only an hour and a half after the radio show on Monday. So I was like, that's perfect. So I was like, well, can I have some time? I was like, I'm looking at January. And she was like, well, no, because that particular day of the week, we only have like one spot left. And if you don't take it, I can't guarantee it's going to be there in January. So I was like, okay, I don't know much about TV, but in my head, I was like, well, you know what? The radio station has cameras, so I can just do, the TV show on the radio station. Yeah, it wasn't the best plan. Yeah. But that was the plan when I said, okay. So I said, okay. And I think that was in November. And I was like, so when will my first broadcast be? She was like, it was December. Ma'am, I think it was around Thanksgiving. I was like, that doesn't give me a lot of time. So I was like, okay, well, like I said, in my head, I was like, I'll use the radio studio, so it'll be fine. That didn't happen. So we get in the radios. I think I asked Trish about it. And she was like, that's not going to work. I was like, why? She was like, because the resolution that you're going to need for TV, you're not getting that here. And I was like, oh, crap. So what am I going to do now? So I went to a job fair, a career fair at my AIU. And while I was there, I ended up talking to the department chair. And he was like, I was proposing a partnership between IBNX and AIU. And he was like, well, why don't we meet about it? So I set up the meeting. He came in, and Devon, and we were sitting down talking. And then somehow we got on a TV show. And he was like, I was like, I'm not really sure how I'm going to film it, but I'm going to make it happen. He was like, well, actually, no, we can do that. And I was like, seriously? He was like, yeah. He picked up the phone and made a call, and was like, I need y'all to move such and such and such so that we can film Mr. Ricardo's show. And the rest is history. I met Nicole.
Pulled like that? They're just moving stuff and rearranging.
Well, you have to remember, and this is the part we forget about those of us that graduate from college. You're an alumni once you graduate. Yes. So anything you do is a reflection of your college. So the fact that I'm doing radio and TV in conjunction with AIU looks good it works for me, and it looks good for them as well. So yeah, they were, and Devon has been amazing about it. And like I said, I met Nicole, and she just kind of took the charge. And Nicole takes care of everything. I love Nicole. She's my heartbeat.
All right, so now I'm in hopes. I'm hoping that one day I'm going to want to host an event at Georgia State, and they're just going to cancel, everything and move and make way for me and what I need.
Okay, let me put a disclaimer on this. You have to have done something significant at the institution.
Right. After I made a name for myself, I'm going to contact Georgia State.
Well, you should have done that while you were on campus.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about like after graduation.
I mean, after graduation, yeah, because then when you walk on campus, oh my God, Kyle. But if you're trying to build something and you need the support, you have to make a name for yourself while you're on campus. That's one thing I can genuinely say, whether I wanted to or not, following passion has allowed me to leave a footprint every place I go. So with AIU, the reason I have pulled at AIU is because I had a choir on campus. And they never had a choir, and that choir went on to sing for the Braves on behalf of AIU. We were the first group to ever perform at the AIU graduations, which were held at the Atlantic Civic Center. So people kind of know who I am because of the choir. So when it came to this, it was like, oh, well, people know who you are on campus. So, and I'm nice most days.
Okay. So what is the environment like on set of your television show? Is it chaotic? Is it chill? Do you guys have music playing? Do you have...
Answer your own question. You know me. What do you think the environment is like?
I've never been on set of your television
You've been on my
show.
radio show. It's a standard across the board.
Completely different set. Completely different group of people.
No, not really. No. I mean, with the TV show, the objective is different. So typically, and that's why I thank God for Nicole, because I don't know anything about TV. And the kids that are in the internship, y'all have to excuse me, I call them kids. They're not kids, but because I'm older and I feel like I've lived so long, I call them kids. They kind of know that's what it is. That's why Kyle hadn't said anything. But the interns, they're in their fields. So they were chosen because each one of them understands a dynamic of shooting a TV show. So some of them do lighting. Some of them do the audio recording. Some of them do editing. Some of them do, what else is it? The actual filming. So everybody has a role they play. So I don't really fuss at them like I do y'all because I'm out of my element.
Because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, because they're supposed to. The ideology is you know what you're doing. So I don't really fuss at them like I fuss at them when they're wasting time. Because the ideology is this is done on Mondays. So you know what I do on Mondays. So when I leave the show on Monday, when it's wrapped at 2, I take about an hour to regroup, put everything on social media. Then I'm headed to the studio to shoot the TV show. So when I walk in, y'all shouldn't be setting stuff up. I'm tired. I've already been on the air for 2 hours. Y'all should have everything ready. All I do is I'm the talent. That's all I do. I walk in. I'm the talent. We shoot the show. We're done.
So are they graduates of ARU? Are they current students, or is this like do they get credits for this?
It's a mixture. So 2 of them actually are in school, so they get credit for it. A lot of the rest of them really want to get into media, and they're trying to get their foot in the door, which either one of them works perfectly for me. Now, there are certain positions I will not take graduates for because they have a lot of accountability. Joseph is an anomaly because typically I wouldn't let Joseph do it because I think he already graduated. So normally I wouldn't let a graduate do engineering because that particular position requires somebody to physically be there, and you can't be like half showing up because it's an engineering position. So typically for that, I will take students who have to get signatures because the ideology is you will be here because if I don't sign up on you, you don't graduate. So I prefer to have those kinds of positions filled by active students because they'll have to have their signature, and I know they'll show up. Joseph was a gamble, and I didn't roll snake eyes. So
Joseph, like I said, Joseph is great.
He is. I'll take it.
So how stressful is it to have your own television show?
Oh God. It's not even the having the show. It's trying to balance everything because I have a full-time job.
Yes.
So I have my full-time job. I have the radio show. I have the TV show. I have the internship program. So plus trying to have a life because hey, I look good. So I should be out having fun and doing what I do. So trying to balance all of that is a chore, but it's all about finding a groove because my biggest thing is being consistent in whatever you do. And a lot of times that's what makes or break people, whether they be in the TV or whether they be just in everyday life. Most of them are not consistent. So if you're not consistent, people are not going to buy into what you're doing. And at the end of the day, it's all about the buy-in. The ideology that people feel like, they have a vested interest in you coming on the air every Monday or you coming on the air every Friday, and their support and their love for what you do is why you do what you do, and it will get you to a whole other level. So I try to be consistent. So it's about finding the balance to be consistent.
I mean, so speaking of stress, because like you said, you have a full-time job. I do as well. I work about 30 to 40 hours a week. I do this show. I do your show. I do photography on the side. I do videography.
You're quite impressive on paper.
On paper,
You're quite
I'm
impressive
trying.
on paper.
I'm a like I said, I'm a good guy. So, how do you stay sane? Because I know for a fact if I don't have a certain amount of quiet time or time to myself, I start to get annoyed and aggravated, and I'll call my mom and I'll be like, she'll be like, she can hear it in my voice. I just start complaining about everything, and she'll ask me if I've eaten because I get hangry a lot.
And try to pass you a Snicker. Yeah.
I don't like chocolate like that. But just like, but that's not the point. But what do you do to stay sane and to just like stay calm when you have all of these responsibilities?
Well, it's a mixture of things. So, number one, I live alone. Nobody's staying in my house because when I come home, I want to be able to do what I want to do when I come home. But I also know my vices. So music is my first place. So I have a whole playlist with music, and for those days that I feel like crap, I got my inspirational gospel. For those days I need to get up, I got some Sierra, level up. For those days I just be like, I'm going to stab everybody if they don't get out of my face, and I put on a little Moonchild. So between music, and then I had to start going back to the gym because I was like, okay, there's got to be an outlet because if not, it's going to be people's faces and heads. So I started going back to the gym to get rid of all the extra energy. But then you have to, it's about liking what you do. So I don't hate my job. So that's a plus. I actually enjoy my job. And I enjoy doing radio. I enjoy doing TV. So it's not really work to me. It's about finding the balance and knowing when enough is enough. Like I know when I hit that threshold, because those will be days I'll be like, okay, I'm not coming. Y'all figure it out. I'm not coming. I'm not up for it. I'm just not in the mood. And I thought about the other day, because I think one of my cousins stayed with me, and I was in and out all day, in and out. She was like, where are you going? I'm going to the studio. I came home, changed. Where are you going? I'm going to work. I came home, back home, and changed. Where are you going? I'm going to the gym. So she was like, how do you do this every day? I was like, well, you have to remember I'm not doing it every day. The busiest day is Monday, because that's when everything has to be shot. The second busiest day is Friday. And then Saturday, because usually I'm at work all day, which today was an anomaly because of you. Usually I'm at work all day Saturday. But there's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and some Sunday's a church day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is a lot of downtime to get stuff done. But again, I know when I've hit too much, because I did that when I was younger, and I'm not going back to that. I was a manager for Tommy Hilfiger, and I was working like 50 and 60 hours and then driving an hour back and forth. And my body put me down. Yeah. And I literally could do nothing but lay on my grandma was still alive. I was living with her. So I literally laid on the floor in tears because I could not, my body shut down. And she was like, I kept trying to tell you to stop doing it. And I was like, well, I didn't think it was a real thing. No. I learned it is a real thing. So when I feel that threshold, I stop. And I'm getting older. I'm almost 40. I'm not trying to be stressed out doing. If Oprah can do it at the level she's at, I can do it at the level I'm at.
Oprah has money and she can
I don't care. She still has to make the executive decisions, and she didn't always be Oprah. She had a TV show and stuff, and that was a lot. So no, she can do it. I can do it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So where do you see the show going? Do you see it possibly in the same lineups as Live with Kelly and Ryan, The View, Wendy Williams, or do you see it on daytime television? Is that a goal of yours?
Honestly, and this is one of the few areas in my life I didn't make goals, because everything else I do. Because it wasn't something I searched for, it has to be a God thing. And when it's a God thing, you don't have control. And I had to accept that. So secretly in the back of my head, I would love to have my own actual syndicated TV show. And actually, the Leadership Blend is actually patterned after The View. With the discussions, it's not for women, but the level of discussion, the seriousness of what we talk about, it's been patterned, because I love The View. So it was patterned after The View. So shouts out to The View if they ever want to have a co-host who's trying to make a name for themselves. Exactly. So I don't know. I want to have a media empire. I think that's what it boils down to. So my next thing is a magazine, because it goes with having radio, TV, print would be next. And I want to have the empire, and I want to have the compound, and if it gets to that level, great. If it doesn't, I don't care, as long as I have my own media empire. But I know me, so it'll be big.
So you're still in the beginning stages of your magazine?
Absolutely. So when people are all enthralled with what I do, I'm like, I don't know anything about any of this.
Yeah.
I just figure it out as I go. I don't believe in coincidences. So anything that comes to my front door, if it's not intent to kill me, we doing it, because there's a reason it was presented. So we doing it.
I feel that. All right, so I was watching an episode where you were discussing organizational liability and intellectual property. Those are very big, compact words. So what can you break them down in a very elementary way? Okay, so you watch a TV episode. So my radio show and my TV show are kind of different, because with the radio show, we have the guests, we do the current events. On my TV show, it's only 30 minutes, so I really get into what everybody does not talk about. So because it's on the Now Network, which is a Christian station, I'm not a preacher. And I'll be honest, technically I'm a minister. I don't tell people that. I didn't know this.
I don't tell people that because I'm apostolic. So with apostolic people or holiness people, we can be very Jesus, and we lose focus on a lot of other things that go into running a ministry. So those are the things I talk about on the TV show. I talk about the other side of running a nonprofit organization, which a church is. We don't have those conversations. So the bigger problem now is not the church is not having God in them. The problem is people don't know how to run a church. A church is still a business. You still are expected to have revenue. You still want to build buildings. You still want to be able to have programs and services, after school programs and daycares and all these good things that are supplemental things that you want to have for your ministry, community centers and all that stuff. Well, all that stuff takes money and takes understanding. So that's the stuff that I tackle in my show. So in that particular show, I dealt with liability because, people come to church and they slip or fall, or, laying hands and somebody fall out and somebody falls on top of them and they get hurt, they sue the church. We don't think about stuff like that. Well, this is a whole different generation.
I've never heard of that.
It happens a lot more than we like to talk about.
Like, not people sue non-mega churches?
Yeah.
I've never
Actually, they'll probably get sued first because, the ideology is I got hurt on your property, which legally, that's what it is. You got hurt at Church of Deliverance in the Apostolic Way in Moldover, Vancouver. You have a legitimate case. You got hurt there. If the church is not properly has this governmental paperwork in order, you're in trouble because they can not only come after the church, they can come after your personal finances, whoever is in charge of the ministry on paper. Wow. That's the stuff we don't think about. So I was like, you know what? Because I always think about areas we don't talk about. So I was like, that needs to be when I go over. I need to go over liability. And then I thought about intellectual property because we have songwriters in the church. We have people writing books in the churches. We have people who create new, who invent in the ministry. Nobody talks about how you solidify this stuff. When you write a song, that it should be copyrighted. When you create a secret sauce for a burger in your restaurant, that's a trade secret that needs to be taken care of paperwork wise. We never talk about these things, but we do them.
I think in a church though, and I think this has just become a new thing since everything's now so digital. When you write a song, you don't really think about copywriting it. You just kind of think about just like trying to spread a message to a group of people that morning. You know what I'm saying? Well,
the smaller churches don't think about that kind of stuff. The mega ministries do. That's why they became mega ministries. Are always smart. Smaller ministries who understood and grew and made sure they nurture proper growth. TD Jakes didn't start out being TD Jakes. TD Jakes started out being, I don't even think he went by TD Jakes. He started out in a storefront. He'll tell you that. He started out in a storefront, but he had vision and he understood the dynamics of ministry. So he did that. We don't do that. We figure, and people, I think it's the thing that frustrates me the most when I'm talking to somebody about their ministries, the organizational aspect of it, and the immediate answer is, well, God will take care of it. I'm sorry, did you not read the scripture that says faith and works?
Yeah.
It's great that you have faith. Where are your works? And your works is not just show up in the pulpit on Sundays. If you're a pastor, you have the obligation to ensure that your parishioners understand the dynamics of their life and understand what they need to be successful, not only spiritually, but naturally as well.
I hear that.
That requires you to put in some work.
Okay.
And a lot of times we have ministries that are full up with individuals who go to school for this stuff. They understand this stuff, but a lot of pastors are intimidated. I ran into that a lot of times with the ministries I was there to support. They were intimidated by what I was trying to do. And it just
this is why he's my first guest of the
I'm sorry, I feel the minister in me coming up. But I'm just saying but I had to realize that was my niche because a lot of times I would go to ministries and because I was educated, they were intimidated. Right. So when I'm there to try to help you and be like, you know what, maybe we should do X, Y, Z. Well, no, we don't do it that way. And God will take care of that. Okay, well, when your church door is closed, I'll be on the outside with the paperwork for the new ministry that I just got in your place.
See, this is what you all get when you tune in to the Leadership Blend on IBNX Radio on Mondays and Fridays from 1 to 3, from 12 to 2.
So the TV show. You actually would get more of this on the TV show on Mondays at 3:30. But yeah, I had to realize, and it was a hard transition for me because it was like, I really want to help these ministries, but they won't let me help. And I'm just like, okay. So then when God started, like, I don't want you to go through them. I want you to do this stuff because the platform is bigger. Because the Now Network has 31 million viewers, 11 different states, and streaming. Yes, it's in 11 different states, literally. And I forget that because I do it every day, and I don't let. That's another thing that doesn't overwhelm me because I don't let myself think about those things. It's something I'm supposed to do it. Let it be. Like
that's kind of like what I was thinking when, like I told you, Miss Penny said, we were the top station on. I think it was in 2017 or 2018. We were the top station in internet radio, and we had 1 million listeners. I was kind of intimidated, and I was like, okay, well,
don't think about it because it's not like you see the 1 million people, so don't think about it.
It's just the thought, though. Like, who are these people? And they're a lot of them were out of the country.
That's about right.
So, but on that note, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to get into the Leadership Blend, the radio show edition.
I need you to warn. You do this on my show all the time.
I can see Joseph, like,
You can see him too. We in this. Are you serious? I can touch him.
I'm sorry. Are we good? All right. We'll be right back with more of Millennial Talk 2.0. I'm Kyle Andrew.